Hi, my name's Oli and I'm the Head of Photography at Falmouth University down here in sunny Cornwall. I'm going to be talking to you about the world of photography, some key skills, pathways, roles, and how you might think about entering the world of contemporary photography. So, the first thing to talk about is photography itself. I'm biased here, of course, but for me, photography has been a key to the world. For you, the camera allows you to go anywhere, do anything, meet anyone, explore things that interest you, make sense of the world. As a language, photography permeates society. It's a global form of communication that crosses all boundaries. How many photographs do you think you'll see today? 1,000? 10,000? Maybe more? Each of those images has been made to communicate something, and behind almost all of those images is a photographer. Today, photography is seen in an expanded form, including a wider range of practices from artistic endeavours to vibrant, engaging content for social media and beyond. All of this is wonderful, but for me I go back to some of the core things that made me excited the first time I used a camera. This could be summed up by this picture of me taking a selfie in a mirror inside a tea house cum barbershop deep in rural Turkey. How did I end up here? Well, to cut a long story short, it's because I have a camera. Everything else grows out of this, whether it's other documentary projects I've undertaken or commercial opportunities that have developed alongside. This passion for getting out with a camera is behind everything that has happened since. For me, everything began with looking at photography. I spent my youth poring over magazines and looking at the amazing photography and writing within. I dreamed of one day getting to go and live that life. I would look at the images of music, sport, adventure, and aspired to end up there myself. I tried to learn from the work I saw in the magazines. Much like a music student would play the classics in order to master an instrument, I analysed the images in those magazines and then went out and tried to make my own versions. Here you can see the images from the magazines. And these are my own rubbish attempts. As much as I look back critically on the work from back then, I'm also pleased that the 17-year-old me got up and actually tried to do something. Again, here's a spread from a magazine, snowboarding this time, and my own attempts. I feel I should probably add that this was much more difficult back then, shot on film, processed in a very early version of Photoshop. Anyway, it taught me a great deal about making images and the persistence required to be a better photographer. These days I spend my time developing long-form documentary projects that explore rural regions of Europe. This is generally a mixture of portraits and landscapes, made in quite a traditional manner. And while these tend to end up as exhibitions and publications, there are also opportunities to translate this work into other, maybe more commercial outputs. For example, if someone was considering my landscape photography, they may see an opportunity to tell a different story. In this case, the rural landscapes turn into the background for cycling and a Spanish cycling holiday company. The skills I've developed as a documentary photographer work well for this kind of commercial approach. Here we see some of the portraits from my documentary work. These can be the basis for other campaigns that include people. In this case, in the studio, or lifestyle imagery for social media. Central to it all is the ability to develop your wide-ranging skills as a photographer and the passion to keep exploring and experimenting. As well as your inner drive to take pictures, there's also some other key skills that are part of a photographer's toolkit. These can be thought of in terms of practical and technical skills, as well as soft or transferable skills. If you were to join us here at Falmouth and study one of our degrees, you would get a mix of all these approaches, as it's this rounded and future-facing skill set that makes the most dynamic photographers. You'll see on some of the following slides, and this one, a range of images from across our courses. So, what are some of these key skills? Well, technical foundations. The goal here is confidence, not perfection. You need enough skill to take control of the image making process, instead of shooting on luck. It's vital that you can make the images look the way you want in order to communicate the things you're interested in. Composition and visual awareness. Developing an eye is more valuable than owning expensive gear. The better and more refined your compositions, the more people will want to engage with your photography. Controlling light. And your ability to control light will make your pictures sing. Sometimes all an image needs is beautiful light. After all, this is the core of the whole medium. Editing and post-production. The ability to make good images into great ones comes through this process. This is as much about restraint as it is about your ability to use all the tools. The right amount of adjustment is a difficult skill to master. Visual storytelling and creative thinking. The world hires storytellers, not button pressers. At the end of the day, it's what you have to say that will be the thing the audience remembers. As well as these core photographic skills, there are also other more transferable or soft skills that are critical. Curiosity and critical looking. Photography isn't just taking pictures, it's learning to read the world. Spending time looking is as important as pointing with the camera. Communication and collaboration. Photography today is rarely a solo job. Your ability to work with others will be crucial. Creative problem solving. Real world photography forces you to think on your feet. Be a problem solver. Resilience and confidence. Progress is quiet. Fail and then fail again better. All of the time building your confidence to present your work to others and your resilience to overcome problems. Organisation and reliability. Be someone that people can put their faith in. Curiosity and lifelong learning. The industry changes. Curiosity keeps you relevant. So these are just some of the key skills that you might want to think about if you're trying to push ahead in the world of contemporary photography. Here's a short video of some of our students putting these skills into practice.
So today we're here in Unit 7, one of our big studio spaces, working on a collaborative project between the first and second years on a client brief. Each student has got a different role, as if it was an industry shoot going on. So it's a really good experience for them just to see what the different roles actually would be in the industry.
Throughout the course we've been taught to collaborate massively, because I feel like that's a lot more realistic when it comes into like real world situations when we get into the workplace.
We do several projects like this where we're in groups, so we're in the studio and we're doing mock ad campaigns.
I'm an art buyer. It's been really cool actually, just meeting with the students and being sort of like on set, just giving a bit of advice and also looking at some portfolios and giving a bit of feedback. So it's good that they're all doing a bit of everything, because I think it just shows what their strengths are.
As you can see from the video, even a small photo shoot can lead to a range of different jobs. At Falmouth, we're teaching students a wide range of roles across the industry. This is to create resilience, but also to give a better and fuller picture of how the world of contemporary photography works. This means that, as well as developing the skills to be a great photographer, you're thinking about a huge range of other related jobs and roles. Here's a list of a few things that you may think about. Videography, being a cinematographer, being an artist, being a director, a creative director, an art director, being a stylist, a set dresser, a location scout, being a producer, being a production manager, a coordinator, a technician, a photo assistant, a lighting gaffer, a studio manager, a production assistant. You could be a retoucher, a colourist, a print technician or fine art printer, a lab technician, an archivist. You could work in supporting photographers as an agent, an art buyer, a picture editor, a commissioning editor, a talent manager, a content manager, a picture researcher, a stock producer. You could be a curator, a collections manager, a festival programmer, a public art coordinator. You could be a workshop facilitator, a writer, an editorial consultant, a podcast creator, a researcher. You could be a content creator. You could be a social media strategist, and so much more. By understanding this range of different roles, it allows you to really find your place in the industry. This is, however, a bit of a step from where you are likely sitting today, and could feel a little bit overwhelming. So, what are the pathways ahead for you now? There are many ways to get into the world of contemporary photography, but core to it all is finding a way to build the creative, critical and technical skills that I mentioned before. Making your way through the school and college will expose you to lots of different subjects and approaches to learning. All of these are brilliant for developing the critical inquiry needed to be a truly dynamic photographer. When thinking about studying a university course, there are lots of, probably an overwhelming, number of options. It's important to spend the time looking at the courses and finding out as much as possible. In the meantime, make sure you're finding the space for creativity in your learning. The students that we see here at Falmouth are consistently pushing the boundaries of the medium, no matter which of their courses they've chosen. It is this creativity that will see them enter the world as desirable photographers and ones that are able to make an impact on the world. Here you can see one of our alumni, James, talking all about how the skills he learnt at university led him into a successful career as a photographer.
I'm James Bannister. I'm a photographer and director. I work primarily with a large format camera. I make photo books that I consider to be visual storytelling. My first project was a photo book about the A30 that used to go from the centre of London to Land's End. It's about people who live off the grid, but really explores feelings of escapism and that want inside a lot of people to run away and disappear. I graduated in 2013 from the photography course at Falmouth University. After I graduated university, I assisted for a couple of years and I took some time to learn the craft of photography. But I always knew that I wanted to go out on my own and be the photographer. Now I get to work with clients all over the world. I have been recently concentrating on only working with clients who have the same vision as me. Getting work has always been quite organic. I don't really reach out to people. Any advice I would give is just focus on your work and what you do. And if your personal work is strong and is your voice, that will attract the right people. As you go along in your career, it's quite rare to get a bad client. After a certain amount of experience, everyone you work with is amazing and creative in their own field. So you learn to say no at an earlier stage of the communication if you sense that your visions aren't aligned. Work-life balance as a freelancer is hard to achieve because work comes along like buses. Often I have to work, 7 days a week sometimes. I think it's just being aware to take time away when you do have that downtime. If I had it my way, I would work all the time. My eye works best with a 4x5 frame and the considered process of working with film. Gear is a funny question when it comes to photography because kit does matter to some extent. The way I like to think about it is like a painter, how they would select a paintbrush, or how a musician would select an instrument. That's only 10% of the equation, and the important ingredient is your individual voice. The achievement that I'm most proud of is being able to make a good living from what I love doing. I get to work with amazing creative people all the time, so I'm very grateful for that. My process when it comes to editing is quite natural. I like to print everything out. I really think a lot about sequencing in my work, how you turn the page, how it feels from turning from this image to this image, and the pace in which you do that, and how sequencing helps or speeds up or slows down. I was commissioned by the British Journal of Photography and Leica Cameras to travel around the UK for a month. One of the images was selected and won the Portrait of Britain Award last year. The image that was selected was a portrait of Coach Hasiba, who had won the Commonwealth Medal for Community because of her work with hijabi boxers. Photography is an excellent way to process your thoughts and feelings about the world. I think when it's really working well, it doesn't really feel like it's you doing it, it's kind of flowing through you, and that's when I think the best work is made.
So, what are the steps that you should be taking now? The most important things to do in order to develop your passion and skills in photography is get out, have fun, look and play. Find the thing in the world that makes you want to get the camera out and embrace it. Look at as much photography as possible in as many forms as you can access. And wherever you can, think about the stories that are being told through images and how you could be part of that in the future. Make sure it's fun. Make sure you're playing and experimenting. I hope that one day you're looking back on the bad images you made at the beginning and are pleased that you took those first steps. If you want to find out a little bit more about the courses we offer at Falmouth, then please see the info here. Thanks for listening.